pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you bring one up too so you can get there? She's ready? Okay, so new business. Oh, I have the backwards one. We have consideration and possible action to add Danny Smith to the superintendent interview on March 30th. Entertain a motion.
I move that we add Danny Smith to the interview. That's when you say anything else. Interview option.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that item?
Monica?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Lena?
Yes. Passed. Okay.
Wait, is that you?
Okay, so now we're gonna have the transportation presentation with Revere Transportation. Chad, would you like to come up and just give us a rundown of what it is you're wanting us to consider?
Sure. Been sipping all day. Just wonderful.
Great day. Thank you.
Yeah. Sit. You want me to stand up here?
Sure, and all those lovely people out there on wherever land can watch you.
Okay.
Microphone's on. Is there a phone?
So in the packet, I guess you want me to read the proposal first?
That would be helpful, I think, if people are watching online, they might wanna hear your proposal, they don't see what we see.
Okay. So sent out an email February 24th, 2026. It was Revere Transportation Fuel Electric Proposal. It says, to whom it may concern, the electric school buses have arrived, which means our current fuel clause in the bus contract needs to be addressed. Instead of fueling up the route buses, we are now charging the batteries with electricity. The $339,787 solar system, which was $169,900 grant, $169,900 out of pocket solar system installed on the new bus barn is helping offset some of the charging expenses. Electricity usage in the building consists of lighting, electrical outlets, garage doors, AC compressor, power for heating, and also charging the buses. This makes it very difficult to give an accurate bus electrical usage bill to the school. The current price for replacing a single bus battery is $50,000. These buses have 2 batteries, bringing the total for battery replacement to $100,000. Useful life expectancy of the bus is estimated at 7 to 10 years. The EV bus costs more than diesel buses to insure, and power outages could affect routes unless I purchase a large generator or have enough spare buses to cover the routes with. And I have purchased a large generator, but I just gotta make sure that the power output doesn't shock the chargers, because generators put out eerie power, so you gotta make it consistent in order to send it to sensitive equipment. The fuel clause will need to remain in place for fuel used in extracurricular travel and for spare buses when the EV buses won't charge or go in for maintenance or repairs. I am proposing that we take a 3-year average cost of total fuel used on the bus routes in the past 3 school years. This will give the school a set number to budget for, and will put the school at 0 risk while electric buses are being utilized in regards to fuel price fluctuation. So in the packet, I have the last 3 years. The first page shows what the average price per gallons was in those years, the total gallons, and then since it's delivered in different price ranges, you can't just take the total gallons times the average price, because you get, say, 300 gallons at $3.50, and you get 500 at 4, and so the total contractor paid, and then the district paid above the 204 per gallon that's in the contract. So that was what's built into our contract is up until 204 is covered under your dollar per mile rate, and then anything above that is what the district's responsible for. So, since we still have extracurricular, what I did was add up all of our extracurricular miles for the past 3 years, divided by 6 miles per gallon, and that gets us the corresponding gallons for those 3 years. So that if you take the total gallons, and then we have the extracurricular gallons used, you have to subtract that off, because that's not what we're looking at. You get the route gallons in that 4th column, and then we multiply that by the average dollar per gallon. That gets you that total, and then you have the 204 amount that is covered under the contract dollar per mile rate, and what's left is the amount paid by the districts. So if we take those 3 numbers and we average it, it comes to $15,832.33. Another thing I'd like to add is these proposed rates and everything else I saw on the electricity was not including demand charge. So
What does that mean?
So it means if you draw a large amount of current from the grid over your normal amount, it sets the bar up high, and for the rest of the month, your rate goes by that higher amount. So you have your normal usage, you have demand charge. So I don't know how it happened. I think 5 buses were plugged in at one time, and we got a large demand, and my solar offset all of the electricity, and I still had a $12,000 bill.
And that was for 1 month?
That was for 1 month.
Okay. Is that
So,
something you'll be able to play with as you move
that's
forward?
something I've been keeping a very close eye on every day is it sunny? Can I plug 3 in? Is it cloudy? Just 2? Is it, like last week we struggled, they were all getting down. I said, okay, we have to run this one, and I only have to run the electrics on an average 3 days a week per bus. So anytime I can incorporate a diesel just to help offset, to keep that demand charge down. And they claim that these batteries, electric cars, there's an 80-20 rule for, I don't know, last 10, 15 years. They say don't go above 80, don't go below 20, otherwise it creates a memory in the battery and it can decrease the lifespan or usable, how good the battery is essentially. So my game plan's been low and slow, charge them slow, stagger them as much as you can, utilize the solar, but it's a big risk. And this is the best solution I feel that takes the risk off the school, and allows me a little bit to replace these at the end of the life of the bus. You guys are open to other suggestions?
I do have a question. So if you can stagger in diesel buses, that the mileage with the diesel buses would still stay under kind of what we've been doing, and it would just be the miles under the electric bus that would be part of the MOU, and you would just keep those separated out so we saw the difference?
Yep.
The packet that.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I did,
This,
trying to look up,
oh, sorry.
I was trying to learn more about this.
Yeah,
that
I
in
read through your
Montana.
packet there.
But it wasn't consistent, only those little parts that I checked off that said to teach me to say, here's what they're looking at, this is the issue. You know, they're saying 1 year diesel costs this much, a year and a half later it costs much less, but again, it's a year and a half later. This is in the preliminary stages, and probably in Thompson is starting it, so you're way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are things that when you do the new, cause this is one more year on this contract, right, into the new one, you'll know better
Correct.
how much you get from back taking electricity and all of those other things, but that's the only reason for that packet. Anything that I saw that pertains somehow, and some of that I didn't even understand, I have to look it up.
It was good. I was reviewing some of that. It was some good information
To
in there.
give you a framework to work from,
Mm-hmm.
to say as we move forward, this might be something that's Havre, Clinton, Big Fork, and Fairfield.
So Big Fork, I've been talking to Danny Walker, their district manager,
We
and
have 3 schools.
he said, so Lion Electric is the bus they have, and Lion Electric is no more.
Yes, I saw that.
I heard
So-
about that.
As far as service, any parts, they're on their own until they keep it together and buy another bus.
See, that's the scary part,
It
because
is.
it's like when you buy a new car, it's
Mhm.
a new model Jeep and it's not the best, the transmission goes after a year, you should have waited a while.
So we've had a diesel, or not a diesel, we've had the heater go out in a bus last week. We had a diesel, or not a diesel, a heater go out this morning, and so we're trying to get that repaired tomorrow. McCall, Idaho is replacing a heater a month, and they have a 10-bus fleet.
In electric buses?
Mhm.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
How long
so
do you have to keep these things for if they don't work so
5
well?
years.
5 years.
Yep.
That's a marriage right there, very short one.
So, no, I'm just saying that was the reason for that information, not that it made sense. If you read it, print it as a packet, just the highlighted ones, cause I found it very interesting. They have the same dilemma,
Yeah.
similar dilemma, say, how do we make this adjustment from diesel to electricity, and then what happens in the summer, do you get to recap some of that?
So it will, the solar, my reset date is in April, and if I have credits built up, or if I don't, it doesn't matter, but they cut it off and they start it again. And so my credits built up will go to 0 if I have any, which I ran out last month. So this month it was $1,170. So we staggered them better. We've been sending the buses back because they're missing airfoils, on-spot chains. We ordered these buses and they didn't come with a lot of the stuff that we ordered, so we're just sending one back, running a diesel in between.
Do you think in the summer you'll be able to recoup some?
Oh, definitely, yeah, there's actually, bi-directional chargers in some cities that they use them as a bank to offset high or peak usage hours.
Yeah.
And they actually make money. I was looking at that originally. Ours aren't bi-directional, but then you have to look at the extra use on the battery and the transmission gear in the bus. And right now I'm struggling with the chargers aren't talking to the buses on 3 of my fast chargers that I have on the lowest setting. So there's a 12 kW, a 15 kW, no, it's a 22 kW, and a 30. So a 30 kW charge at 210 kilowatt hour bus in 7 hours. If it's on low, it's like 22. So you try going low and slow and less than the van. If the sun comes out, you can crank them up and catch them up, essentially. What was your question?
How many buses are we running now?
6.
6 electrics? And so you're saying you got a $12,000 electric bill the first month? You said you got a demand charge, was that
$1,200.
$1,200?
Oh, I thought I heard
I heard 12,000.
Maybe I said it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
$1,200.
Okay.
It's about 12,000.
Now I was like, this
Nobody's
nonsense.
saving money on these things.
I bet if I
You
tried,
felt that
I
way.
could get it up there.
Please don't.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Banana. One thing I know, as this has been talked about and on our agenda, I've had a couple of school districts reach out, interested in what we do as a school district with this, like Trout Creek and things, asking questions because this is coming up, and I think what we do here is not only gonna set a precedent for the future board and your next contract for other school districts around, because this is really unexplored territory coming up with these contracts, so. Yeah, and so that's gonna be a thing, people are really looking at what we do as a district with these electric buses as they're becoming a thing. Although it may not be a long-term thing, we'll
I
see what
don't-
happens if they don't work.
I don't know how many are going to go because of the funding, the EPA grant that we got, it was 100%, or not, it was $375,000. The bus ended up being $388,000. So I had $86,000 out of pocket. The electrical and charger, I think I ended up spending probably around 50 or 60,000 over what the charger and the electrical was anticipated costing. But I think previously EPA grants, they do 100% and then they go half and then they go a quarter, and when it's a quarter, you lose $10,000 bus that you have to scrap to get a new one. It's like, just keep it.
No, that's it, yeah.
So depending on, what comes out in the future,
Well,
but the
and
technology.
Technology,
yeah.
and the school districts on this were already in line to get these, right? Thompson Falls, Trout Creek, they already got it.
350,
Some of them are different.
350,
Is
that's
that-
for the entire fleet
correct.
per day. And that's including twice 2-day runs, 350 a day.
Yeah.
So, what is it, I'm kinda confused, I'm not sure exactly what you're proposing. What are you proposing? You said a lot, but.
I'm proposing that the difference in fuel usage from past that is now being utilized via electricity, subtracting extracurricular, because extracurricular is its own, we still have to run diesels because of the range of the electric buses. We're gonna take extracurricular off of the route gallons used.
Correct.
Take a 3-year average.
I'm with you there, but
Yeah.
I guess my question is, if these are supposed to be 60-70% more efficient, I thought this idea would be to help save money, and yet it seems like you're asking for the same amount.
I am.
That doesn't make sense.
Why?
Well, explain to me if
So
don't
are
mind.
you getting kids going from point A to point B in the newest technology, the safest? Is the amount of service changing at all for you?
Well,
have you-
that's like me buying a semi, and then I expect my customers to pay for it.
You're
I
expecting
can't
your
do that.
customers to save money.
Well,
That's what you're asking me.
yeah, I am asking you to be a good steward of school finance.
So when I go
But
to,
if you're buying equipment that is supposed to be 60% more efficient, 70% more efficient, but yet you're saying.
it's 3 times
It
the
would be
cost
nuts
to
to think that we
replace.
wouldn't expect some sort of consideration for that, and yet pay you the same amount.
Okay, I propose to you, you guys help invest in all the infrastructure I put into place, and we can share the cost and the savings. Can we do that?
No,
You wouldn't?
because that would not give us an advantage.
You're getting the same service. At the
service that
same
we're
price,
paying
a
for.
guaranteed price that you can budget for.
But I think you're asking for us to pay for your investment.
I'm asking for security in my investment and then making sure that I can sustain what I have and have enough money to replace in the future. With the system I have, with the new technology and breakdowns and everything else, I don't wanna go low and put myself
Fair
out of
enough,
business.
and I'm not saying I want you to lose money either, not by any means.
That's why I'm
But at
keeping
the same
it
time,
the
we're
same.
talking about equipment, and you're working out bugs, I get it. But that's not our problem. And it's
Exactly,
not- and
that's
it's
why you
not
pay
your
for
problem.
a service
It's
from
your
point A to
problem in the
point
sense that
B.
you have the inconvenience of
I'm
having to take
taking
it back.
all the risk and I'm
You're not
charging the
taking
same
all-
rate.
Wow.
I'm not? You wanna take the risk with me?
Oh, I take plenty of risk, I
Okay,
understand.
I'm saying you wanna put the school
But
at
I think
risk.
that I think you're asking for a lot.
I'm asking for the same amount I have in the past, so
But I
whether
think
I'm
that's
running
fine.
electrics or diesels, you'd be happy if it was diesels, you'd pay the same amount. We're coming into war, gas prices are high,
But your electricity usage is a fraction of diesel costs.
If it's run correctly with the infrastructure I put into place, spending $170,000.
But
But
again,
you're not worried about that,
I'm sorry, did we ask for this?
No,
Okay, so.
but they approved it.
I understand that, but that was, then why did you do it, out of curiosity? If we didn't
Sounded
ask
fun, I
for
don't
it,
know.
and there was no benefit for you on your side, then why bother doing it? If we were fine with the status quo.
I feel like there was a benefit, right, cause you got new buses and they were.
Yeah, I
By
get to replace
themselves,
buses,
they're
I
just-
scrap other
Have
buses.
a very long shelf life, and there's a fraction of the moving parts on an electric bus.
So when I
as a
come,
diesel motor.
so when $700,000 comes to me in 10 years, 8 years, are you guys gonna share that burden?
Wow, you're talking about blue sky, cause you don't really know what
I
this
don't
costs.
know, and there's a lot of unforeseens
But at
and
the same
variables that
time,
aren't
when we
understood.
overshoot it, there's no recovery for us either.
What recovery? You're not at risk.
Well, yeah, we are at risk,
How?
because it's our money. We're supposed to be good stewards and be financially
So
responsible.
you're not paying more, you're paying the same, and you're saying,
But that is more,
how is that more?
because, again, the electricity usage is 18 cents a mile is what that is,
It's,
on average for a school bus? And yet,
It-
I mean, it's certainly not $4.37 a mile or a gallon. It's probably more like 18 or 20 cents.
yeah, and the buses
But-
cost more, and sure.
Wow.
You're seeing one number and you're wanting all of it.
So here's my question, as we're looking at this, because I get it, it's a give and take, how do we work through this? Do you have other ideas or numbers in mind that you feel like would be more appropriate to kick back as far as?
Well, no, because I've just seen the numbers for the first time. I can't, in all fairness, spit off a number and be
No, absolutely.
responsible and
some-
fair.
And sometimes
But
these
I
conversations take
do
a couple
think-
meetings.
But I am willing to say on record now that for you to say that you want us to pay the same amount of money, that is not fair.
Okay, so say diesel went up to $5 a gallon and you
But
pay
it's not
that,
going
and
to
you
stay
you
that
have
way.
savings.
And I guarantee you, once your warranties are covering all these issues.
For
that
2
you have-
years, everything else I
Okay.
start replacing, and this new technology is not proven
Then
yet.
I don't understand why you went this route.
Maybe it was stupid. I don't know.
Wait,
We won't know for a while, let's roll that back a little
Can I
bit.
just,
Well, no, I think it's a fair question to ask,
I think
because he's asking for a lot of money.
I
Okay.
get
And
that,
it
I'm
doesn't
asking
make
for the
sense.
same amount.
but unfortunately, he's already bought them, so going backwards, we can't change it. Our focus
I
has to be what we do
understand that, but we
moving
have
forward.
to accept responsibility for our actions.
So hold on a second, so Dr. Walsh has something to
I
say.
just think that it's both sides, we're looking at both sides of the coin, okay? And we have to come to a total understanding
Sure.
of what this really means.
Right.
So, cause when I'll speak for myself, I hear solar, okay, great, we're gonna make money at some point, that's the key operative for, right? That money, that savings, that I say, I'm gonna save money, but we don't know what that is, it's out there. We don't know how much, I'm saying I wouldn't know what I'm getting, so I think there's a little bit of more conversation we have to have at a table, we have an understanding of it, and like I said, reading some of those little tidbits, I understand what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying, and I think they both have valid points.
Well, no, and I understand, and again, I'm not asking you to lose money, but we're not gonna get that money back just if it ends up in your favor either. So, I don't know, maybe you're, and forgive me for saying this, but maybe you're not doing a good enough job of explaining it to where I'm understanding. But, because I'm telling you, I'm not understanding it.
What else do
I'm
you?
not understanding the numbers. The math to me isn't math. That
In what-
you
in
say,
what-
I want
what
the same
aspect?
amount of money for something that's gonna cost a fraction to run.
Okay, so you get kids go A to B in a yellow bus, and you want to pay less money. That's what you're asking.
I'm surprised you
It's-
actually
it's the-
thought that you
it's
were
the
going
same
to
service.
make X amount more dollars providing the same service.
Potentially,
Well,
I don't
you
know what
are.
the variables
You
are.
are. Otherwise, you
In
wouldn't
the
have done it.
net end game, who knows?
You must have had a serious
So,
inclination that
I
you were,
didn't
otherwise you wouldn't
expect
have,
any
you wouldn't have
demand
done it.
charges when I took this on, and those were very surprising to me.
so here's a question I have, so granted, again, this is all brand new stuff, new territory. In an MOU, again, this one's only going to be for a year and a half, so at the end of that, there's probably not really gonna be any financial gain, but it does set up what the contract looks moving forward. In the contract we have now, when we go above the 204, whatever the district pays for, could we have something in the MOU that says if you make more than 75% profit or something, that some of that is shared back to the district, so that if you, for some reason, unrealized gains, we've gone so far up that we kick some back so that it shows the taxpayers that, hey, we really do care about your money. Would that be something that would appease both sides?
Then
I
can
think
we,
that's
can we share in the cost of replacing the batteries?
That I don't,
No.
I think that you'd have to
Why
put
not?
into your contract, so I think.
Because there should, no, customers don't pay for my semi-repairs.
Well,
Right,
yeah, well, they kind of do, and,
Well, they don't.
well,
When
it's
you do
not
a
for the-
service-
Whoa, hey, guys, wanna take a minute?
Yeah, but
Just please for a second. Yes, sometimes, I know when you're gonna deliver the mail, it's written into your contract. I would encourage you to write that into your contract, if that's a piece of the contract you present to your next board. That is something, I mean, like, when you go to deliver the mail, you have to contract in getting a new vehicle, because every 4 years you're required to do that, right? There's these things, I would absolutely put that into your contract, if that's something you want to be considered as being a piece of that. Because I do think that over and above is going to help with some of that stuff, right? Does that make sense?
it's all unforeseen.
Correct.
And I thought keeping the price the same was generous. It was a set price that you guys are happy to pay us for running diesels.
Right.
Happy.
Here might be the concern
It's not
that
happy.
happens
It's
when.
not a choice.
Hold on. Here
There's a
might.
difference.
That's negotiations.
Oh, okay.
No, I
So
understand.
here's what I think, we might run into an issue. Because nobody really knows, but there's a perception out there that electric is a lot less expensive, and school districts are okay with it, cause it's gonna save taxpayer money. If we come at them and say we're using electric buses, but it's not gonna save the taxpayer any money, they're going to question that and maybe be upset.
100%.
So that might be something we need to do, a give and take that says, hey, okay, we've taken this venture, we've signed on to the, we have the contract, where do we show that the school is going to benefit from that a little bit? Because everyone out there realizes electricity is a lot cheaper to run. So maybe if we have something written in that says, if for some reason River Transportation gets this huge windfall because it actually works so well in your favor, that they say, yeah, we're willing to help give that back to the district, so that the taxpayer money shows we're being fiduciarily responsible. Does that kinda make sense?
So we're talking about $15,800, and if you times that by 10, that's $150,000. And my battery replacement is $700,000 in 10 years.
Right.
Does that put a dent in that?
Well, no, but the hard part is the school doesn't own the buses and we're contracting with you, that's your
Right.
cost of doing business, which sucks because
And
you
yeah,
buy some buses
And
that
if
are really
if I
expensive
don't
to run.
structure it right, I won't be around. I won't be able to provide the service I'm providing.
That is my concern with the electric buses in
Mhm.
general.
That's, I'm very
I
I was
honestly-
actually excited for this,
Well, I was
but
not.
now I'm
I
not.
wasn't
There's
excited
no
for it at
gain.
all.
I think there's a need for more understanding. We know
Correct.
our peripheral,
Very little.
you know it in and out, because it's your life.
Well, he
You know,
really
so-
doesn't, because he's, no offense, and I'm not trying to rub you wrong, not by any means. You need to make money, and as you should. But either whoever pitched this idea to you didn't give you all the facts, or somebody didn't do their homework, because it just doesn't, I don't understand.
It's tough to understand. There's a lot into it.
And I understand this is.
I use
territory
AI and
for
try
you
to
as
do a
well.
cost comparison. to
But
look at-
I would have to assume that the salesman or the entity should have fully educated you on the anticipated interruptions you might have, the cost, the electricity usage, all of that. And if they didn't, they did you wrong.
They said that electricity is a third to a quarter of what diesel potentially should be, and maintenance should be less also. And then you get the bus that the grant that we put in for.
And I'm sure you know, because you do your own work for the most part, if I'm not.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
So, no $300 oil changes, no cooling aspects.
There's
No-
cooling, there's three
Well,
different coolant systems, and one of them was leaking that we repaired already.
I'm just saying, I think the repair costs are gonna be exponentially less once the bugs get figured out. And
Maybe-
even for the
maybe.
first 2 years, they're not your problem anyway, other than the
These
inconvenience.
buses are designed to run on paved roads, ours are, they're electrical components bouncing up these gravel roads we have.
Yeah, I understand that, I totally understand.
And it's all unforeseen, and I'm just trying to create a sustainable business to keep in service.
which for you could turn out very beautifully or turn out very hellishly.
Yeah, I just
And
don't wanna put any
I'd say
risk
that.
on you guys and keep it the same.
So here's my suggestion, because this is obviously gonna be a couple of conversations, cause we're just now like really eating up numbers. Can the board members, as you guys come up with questions, can you send them to me? I will forward questions on to you, so we can have a dialogue, so we can have another, sit down maybe in a couple weeks, go through all of that. I mean, I'm hoping we can come up with something we all kind of agree on, feels good for both sides, that we can put on an April meeting, but if not, we'll kick it down to May, but I would like to have this done before the new board is on, because potentially we could have a lot of brand new people who haven't been a part of any of these conversations, and we wanna make sure that we're not laying something
Yeah.
heavy on them.
That's fine.
Does that sound fair to you?
Sure.
And if we came up with some kind of suggestions that maybe might not be exactly what you said, but kind of meet in the middle or a little bit higher, would you be willing to adapt with us?
I can look at it, make suggestions and.
Okay.
I think that's what we wanna do, we wanna ask questions, you ask of us, what, you know, just to say, what do you say?
Yeah.
Here's what it is, what do you want? And we have to say, well, this is what we understand it to be. Is that accurate? It might not be in that, the world of electric buses, which is different than just solar.
And I do get that the district itself is not going to be out any more money than we would be if you've been doing diesels. In
Yeah.
fact, maybe even saving a little bit during wartime, but then it would hopefully even out, cause we're not gonna have a huge spike. But then we also have to be able to present this as a unified body to the constituents and to our stakeholders, that although the anticipation was the school was going to save money on what we tax you, it looks like they're asking for the same amount of money despite switching things. So we wanna make sure that we're able to have
Sure,
that
yeah, back
conversation
it
with
up,
everybody.
that makes sense.
So I propose, thank you so much for coming, by the way,
Absolutely.
that you guys, as you have questions, let's compile those, send them to Chad. We can kind of crunch together something that we think we could live with to propose back. Does that sound fair? And have another conversation now.
Sure.
Okay, Gwen, I know you're on there and you've been doing some things and stuff too. What are your thoughts on the electric buses and the contract?
Well, I think the conversation you're having is exactly the conversation that needs to be had. And, I'm certain that Chad has some sort of a business plan or business model that shows what he thought would happen. And then we've got this second semester of school to figure out if that's what actually happens. And so I think this is a great start.
Okay. Well, does anyone in the audience have any questions, concerns, comments on river transportation? I don't want you guys to feel like you don't get to participate. No? Okay. Okay, so then I would propose, let's get some questions together, let's get an idea of what we'd like to propose back, and then have another open meeting to
And you
talk
have
about
Chad's
that.
document, so you can
Yes.
be very specific in your questions.
Correct.
You can ask him, and he'll have specific answers.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else you want us to be, mindful of as we're compiling questions, and anything that you didn't say already that we need to notate and make note of?
Say I have more to say.
I'm just asking if you have more that you want us to consider or make note of before we start.
And I think in
Send me
fairness,
questions.
you should feel comfortable to send her things that you want to ask us. What did you mean when you said?
100%.
So that we can explain it in
So-
our,
One of those chargers is $24,000, and the dealership that we get the buses from has gone through 3 chargers, 1 fast and 2 slow ones. The slow ones are like $4,300, so you get to that 15 pretty quick.
And I guess
This-
my biggest concern is maybe not so much the next year and a half, is what's gonna happen after that. Because if things go to heck, we have to pay for it or we don't have any buses. And it could potentially be way worse than when we were paying for the gas and the diesel.
What do you mean?
Oh, like it.
What if things start, you have to go spend $25,000 over here, $50,000 over here, and
You guys don't have to. I do.
no, when you negotiate with us
Oh.
in 2 years,
Also the
you're,
contract
it could potentially be way higher than this, and that's what I'm
for
afraid of.
operating costs.
Yeah,
Right.
because,
Well, in 5 years, I can go back to diesels.
right, I'm just saying that that's what bothers me, is maybe not so
We-
much the next year and a half, but what happens after
Long
that.
term. for the
Yeah,
school,
and
but
when we
also for the
renegotiate
business.
the next contract, contract after 27, then it's,
By then you'll have a
Like
little better numbers.
yeah,
But
sure.
you won't know what the long-term replacement costs are for everything, because as they start falling apart, which may not last 7 years, but theoretically they might, that is also going to be a, yeah.
I heard the seats aren't that cushioned for the kids.
they're not.
It's like you're going to prison, man, that's
They
state
don't like,
issue.
they don't like the state
Chad,
seats.
if you don't mind me asking, do we have an idea what when you transfer transfer to MPGE, what that mileage is that we're getting out of these buses?
I put 6,
Well, that's diesel, but what are we getting on electric buses?
like $1 per mile.
Well, like how many miles a gallon is it equating for these buses? Are we getting 15 miles a gallon versus 6?
I have no idea, you gotta put it into dollars and then divide it back out. And since I'm using solar, then you can't do that with the numbers because your electric bill doesn't reflect what you normally would use.
So on the power bank, it doesn't say this is how many miles you're getting out of a charge kind of thing? And
It has a
kind of back-
percent of battery life, and then you charge that, and then you top it off again, and then you go, it's under 100 miles, so you go 20% charge in the morning. If they run the heater, it's like a 26% charge. And then so for the day, you've gone 46% of your battery in, 55 miles. It's about a mile per battery percentage is what we're seeing.
What would that equate to dollar amounts? I mean, for people who like to math,
Yeah,
we got a mathematician over there
So-
too, he's good at math.
If we're at 6 miles a gallon, what's fuel right now? Is it $4?
Oh God, it's
3.
437.
Yeah, so we go around number $4. So we go what's something that is
But I guess my question
73
is,
cents.
when I was looking at some of the other
Did you just math
districts,
that? I don't even know how to put the equation
I
together.
have a calculator.
it's just, the numbers, the operating costs are substantially less, and I guess that's what I'm getting at, and I don't want you to take my questioning to be adversarial. I'm trying to
back it up.
understand this at the same time, because
Right.
I don't want you to get hurt. But I also don't wanna get taken advantage of either.
Well,
Correct.
I think we have to be able to answer our stakeholders too, they're gonna ask the same questions, right?
Yeah,
So
it's good that we're covering
we have to
it.
have a good conversation about that. Some of them will get it, some won't, but at least
Yep.
if we understand, we can try to have a conversation.
And I think it'd be very supportive, because we're having people understand, once we talk a little bit more about it.
Well, the public trusts us to make the right decision, so we have to ask the tough questions.
Correct, yeah.
And these conversations are necessary, and apparently we're gonna have another one, which is fine.
Yeah.
But at least it'll broaden our understanding, and we can come to a better understanding,
Sure.
so.
So we will have people compile some questions, try and see if we can get something out there.
Yeah.
Everyone sends me what they kind of think might be a good, counter offer, please send those to me, so I can send them on to Chad and he can look them
Or
over.
just a question for information's sake. Like, while we might see, this as it is, what do you mean by won't, just asking, because you read things, you find out,
Yeah, if you guys got any just questions itself, not necessarily like
is it Montana
contract
electric?
management stuff to help whatever you're building with your questions.
Montana electric bus
Is-
company is big.
Is there a way you could just charge one bus and then
Push the others?
test it and just drive it out of almost all battery, charge it back up, and figure out how many miles you went and how much it costs to charge it, and not take solar into the equation, just how much it how much it costs based on electricity.
Take us on a field trip.
Just to kind of give
So
us an
if you-
idea of how much, or how many miles.
It's 14 cents per kilowatt is what I was told from Northwest Energy. And I can
Okay.
show you guys our bill that has the demand charge that brings it to like $5 per kilowatt if you go above that.
Okay. All
That would be
right,
good
but I'm
information.
just
Send it to me, I
I'm
can
just
send it
kinda
out.
curious.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
that's-
it would be fair to not lean on your solar power and for maybe get just a power charge, know what the power costs without.
I could plug all in and you could have a $10,000 bill. Who's
No.
paying that?
But that's not, that's not gonna cost $10,000 to charge those buses either.
It could in a month if I charge them all at once,
Well,
guarantee it.
obviously, you're gonna
If
wanna
I turn
try
the solar off, I promise
and,
you.
no,
I'm talking to you. You're good.
I'm just trying to figure out how much.
What
it
the
would-
cost is for one bus.
If
for-
you were
yeah.
just gonna figure out power
Yeah.
and not your solar is
But-
bonus,
but
but
you're
I mean,
talking-
that way,
yep.
it's, even if you had no solar, about how much it would
That,
be.
that would cost more than the fuel to run them.
It would.
So this was just a terrible idea.
Well, that's what the
That's why I
government,
put the solar on.
sometimes
the
struggles
offset.
with.
And that's
Yes,
when I
okay.
actually told the paper, I said, I don't know how people are gonna do this without solar.
I don't think they can. You
But
have a question from
obviously you
behind.
have to do it, I was just curious how much it would cost.
Okay, Monica,
Yeah.
we got a question, Larry Joe?
is Plains your only contract?
I have a contract in Dixon, one bus, and then 3 in Hot Springs.
But is our school's dealing with electric buses, right?
Dixon has electric now.
Oh,
It's not running yet, they're still working on it,
Okay.
And you
Wow.
use the electrical buses for both Dixon and Hot Springs?
but not Hot Springs, just Plains and Dixon. Yeah, cause I didn't have the contract up there at the time. They got the electrics.
But the intent is to use the electric for Hot Springs?
No, only in Plains, and only in Dixon, and they have to be in those districts that they were assigned to per the grant.
So the one in Dixon has to be housed in Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
This probably makes sense, cause trying to drive that from your charging station,
They barely make it from the wood here.
I'm surprised you're having these kinds of problems. Let me rephrase. I'm not surprised you're having problems in the infancy stage, because buying a new semi, that, I have everything in the book, cause it's in the shop more than it is on the road, until we work it out.
We're
So
rotating.
I understand
Yeah.
100% what you're saying.
It's concerning.
But once it gets going, I mean, did they tell you you should be getting 100 miles out of a charge, or 200 miles out of a charge?
They said the range is 125, and we're seeing it about 100. And that's with optimal battery percentage. So as
It
the
gets
battery
worse.
deteriorates, your range is gonna go down.
That's gonna be a
So you're gonna be
while before
charging
that
more.
situation.
So if we set something in place that's in stone, and later on my battery percentages are down, and I'm charging them more, and there's a lot of variables.
so after 5 years, if this is, you trash it, what can you do
Well,
if
and
you're building with
that's
solar? Can you
that's the
sell
other
the
thing too,
solar?
is I have options in 5 years, is I can offload them, sell them for
You
half
can.
price and buy.
But your housing station at your business, right? What can you do with that in 5 years if it's all scrapped? Beautiful building,
I'll
what do you
just
do with it?
be the next St. Rita's Travel Center, just charge electrics.
Question,
Charging station,
when you
I
get the
love it.
solar, how long does the power last, the solar last, once it gets up to full capacity, can it last? I don't know a whole lot
So,
about it, like, let's say all the sun's shown on it and then it was full charged,
Mm-hmm.
how long does
So-
that last?
So my power generated from the solar goes into Northwest Energy's grid, and I get credits. And so when I use power, I pull credits from the grid, and so they're essentially my battery banking.
So
And I
in the summer,
Yeah, I should build a lot.
A
Yeah,
lot,
it should be
okay.
good. Yeah.
and then that'll help,
But we won't know until after the summer what exactly that looks like for you, right?
Yeah. Correct.
And
I
until
don't.
then,
Yeah, I
we
don't
need-
have any
and we need to
costs.
finish out next
Go
year.
off of. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, okay. Alright, well, I'm excited to have some questions and some things to keep talking about. I'll get back a hold of you when we set up another meeting, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, if that sounds okay to you.
Yeah.
Okay, then make sure questions, thoughts, send them on over and I'll really like you guys. Thank you so much. I know, this is a hard learning curve for all of
Yeah.
us. And thank you, Gwen, for being on the phone. Okay, we're gonna close it at 6:44. Okay.
Hi, Gwen.
More communication, right? I love it.